So I've been thinking about what's really some of the best Naruto games that we've ever gotten. Full disclosure, this video is not a full in-depth breakdown of why I enjoy each and every single game on this list, and it's not a full in-depth breakdown of why these games are great and or are the best. So if that is what you're looking for, I apologize. But if you're still here to kind of hear me ramble on and talk about why these are the greatest games to me in a very loosely connected way, then by all means, please stay and slide and subscribe, because I really appreciate it. Thank you. Whether that's digital, whether that's mobile or console or anything like that, I think I've narrowed it down for me personally. I'm just gonna throw a quick shout out to Naruto Blazing, because I love using their art and kind of incorporating it into my thumbnails and then switching it up a little bit. I think the best Naruto games you're ever gonna find out there. Let's start with Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles. A goated classic. If you hadn't played this game, you're just missing out. It came out PlayStation 2 era. It was kind of like that free roamish type of Naruto game, and you got a few characters that you can play with, and you just had your own unique story. I don't know, you know, it's just the feeling. It felt like Naruto, and it always feels like Naruto. It's always good to go back to. Somebody else can probably say something a little bit better, I know, but I don't know. It's just like you have to play it to understand how the format of how that game was structured. I would not mind having another game like that. These are games that I played when I was like, I don't know, anywhere from 8 to 12 or some shit like that. I can't remember. Speaking of Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles 2 did it even better. You got to play with other characters like Neji, Rock Lee. You had Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Kakashi. I don't know. It's like, yo, Uzumaki Chronicles 2 just seen everything that was here, and they just like boosted it. You know, it's a cool ass game. I'm sure while I'm talking, I'm showing some of it. I know graphics don't look great today, but it's still a good game to go back to play. The mechanics felt great. Mechanics are still polished up for what it is, and everything just works for what type of game that it was. I don't know. The Uzumaki Chronicles series was really one of those games where you had to be there to play it and enjoy it, because if you go back and try to play it nowadays, the control scheme may feel a little wonky and may feel a little weird. You might not really want to sit down and play through it, but if you're a child and you're playing through it, it's awesome. And if you've already experienced it, I feel like it's always a great game to go back to. And if you're somebody that doesn't mind relearning older titles with the way that they play and how they just run completely differently than how modern titles do, then it's a great game for you to jump into if you haven't experienced it. I'm gonna go into the next one, which is
Naruto Ultimate Ninja Heroes!
The Ultimate Ninja series kind of started right here, in a sense. I know we technically had Ultimate Ninja on the PlayStation 2, which I also think is one of the best Naruto games of all time. But I'm gonna go inside my own little list. Ultimate Ninja Heroes, freaking gas. This is, by the way, in no real order, but hey, I have my own list that I kind of had little bullet points on, so we're gonna stay here. Ultimate Ninja Heroes and Ultimate Ninja Heroes 2 were titles for the PSP. The PSP kind of ushered in this mobile way of playing Naruto games, and this way of having a handheld game that was really polished out, played like the Ultimate Ninja series introduced us to in the PlayStation 2 era. And it just had like this long ass story, and it was just a game you could just throw on if you want to just casually play it. But it had some pretty competitive things to it as well. You know, you had to really try to be good at that game. I don't know, it's like the mini games in the game was great, the storyline was great.
Naruto Ultimate Ninja Heroes 2!
Probably my favorite one out of the two, just because of that whole 100 floor thing. I just thought that shit was cool. You know, you got to fight these mirror versions, and the story was really unique. If I had to say anything though, it could have been cut down a little bit, but a lot of games back in the day were either really long or really short, and you wouldn't really know the difference as a kid. It just felt good. That's really what you're gonna be hearing me say this whole video, is these video games felt good. I'm gonna show you some images, show you some video footage of it, probably. If not, then bro, I'm gonna show you a picture at least, you know. Like I said, Ultimate Ninja is something that we even still talk about today, because when you really look at the modern titles in Naruto, what is it? It's Naruto Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja, Storm. Everybody just says it's the Storm series, but really it's just the progression of the Ultimate Ninja series, if we're really gonna be real. Ultimate Ninja 3, because I already mentioned Ultimate Ninja. Ultimate Ninja 3 might be the best Naruto game of all time. See, now with this one, I actually have a lot more to say for it. Ultimate Ninja 3 was kind of one of those games you just sat down and you played, and it retold the entire story of Naruto for you. But it told it in its own way, where the pacing never felt like it was too rushed. The pacing didn't feel like it was too slow. It didn't have the biggest roster of characters to play with, but it was still great. Combat was fine. The story mode had like this roam around segment that was kind of cool. It was the first game you got to play as Minato. They had him listed as the Yellow Flash. That was fire. Fourth Hokage, nobody knew it was Naruto's dad, though. You know, that shit was cool as hell. And you could unlock, I think it was the first and second Hokage in that too. It's just iconic. If you was there, you understand. Like, you just had to be there for some of these games. And if you haven't checked them out, please do yourself a favor and do that. I feel like we should get a modern title that strips away everything from Shippuden and just focuses down on the original story. And I feel like people would be able to enjoy that. It doesn't have to be in the style that we have of the new Ultimate Ninja stuff, which is the Storm series, but maybe come up with another unique way of I don't know, of retelling the story. If Dragon Ball games can do it, Naruto games can do it. There's a million freaking Dragon Ball games out there that retell the story of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball, not really much of the Dragon Ball ones, but a lot of them retell the story of Z and or Super now. So I don't see what we can't do for Naruto. Like, just keep throwing some ideas out there, you know, and it might land. You never know. I mean, shoot, I've always said that it would be a great idea to try to mix in some kind of elements of creating your own character or whatever. Globecool actually had a really good video on this of like the ideal perfect Naruto game, and he kind of sums it up really well. So go check that out. And I'm not linking it, but you can find the video. I might link it. I don't know. I might be lying to you. Moving on from Ultimate Ninja 3, which is really hard to do because a lot of games now just don't compare to the polish and the level of quality that you have in Ultimate Ninja 3. Nothing was missing, nothing felt janky, nothing just felt off about the game. It was literally the perfect Naruto game. It just didn't have Shippuden. Now, moving on, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 might be the second best Naruto game ever. I think Storm 2 is the best out of the Storm series, and that is just some bias. I'm gonna be honest, I grew up playing it. I guess all of these are biased, so no, who gives a shit? I grew up playing that game, you know. I remember just sitting there casually playing the game and then eventually getting competitive with me and my other brother. Like, that shit was cool as hell. Just first time seeing Sage mode in a game, like, oh my gosh. The Ultimate Ninja series really stepped up their game when they put out Storm 2. Yeah, Ultimate Ninja, like, Storm 2 gotta probably be the best game in the Storm series, just for all of the stuff that they was doing in the game. I know Storm Generations ended up pioneering the new subsystem that we have, which I am still not a huge fan of. I would still rather it come out of your chakra gauge to make it be a little bit more realistic to the show, but Storm 2 definitely has to be like the best one that we have. Storm 2, the story was great. You got to roam around and do so many different things in that. I really do want to do another playthrough of Storm 2, maybe on the channel. It depends on how my new audience takes that. If I'm gonna be honest, I want to do a playthrough of all of these games on the channel in some type of way, but you let me know if that's something that you would actually like to see, because a lot of people that are finding me now is just for me talking and kind of reviewing and just giving my opinion on some of these games, even if it's not in the most detailed way. But yeah, you know, if you're coming to the channel and you're new to the channel, just go back. I have a buttload of videos on the channel of me actually playing through games that I think is entertaining. I think they're good games, good videos. So let me know, because I would love to dive into it, so I can just, you know, I have my community and we're just doing our own thing. Maybe we live stream it or something. I don't know, because, you know, it's older titles, so I really need some backing and support to even have this get thrusted into the algorithm. If I'm gonna be for real now, it don't matter what I do for the title, it don't matter what I do for the thumbnail, and people ain't gonna be clicking on that shit if I don't really have the core audience that's pushing it, right? Anyways, like I said, Storm 2 gotta be one of the best games, if not the best Storm game. Storm Generations, I understand why people say that's the best one, because they had these in-game anime cinematics that was custom made just for that, and they were actually and they were actually said to be canon by Masashi Kishimoto, so that was really cool to see, you know, the Itachi versus Kasame thing, and then it had these like different things where it was going in and out of the anime. So yeah, you know, I can see why people enjoy Generations the most. And of course they changed the subsystem, which has been something that we continued using. You know, we won't let that shit up. Yeah, no matter how much I complain about it, and it's fine. Leading on to Storm 3. Storm 3, it's really hard for me to say which one is better, Storm 2 or Storm 3, because I think Storm 3 might really take it when it comes to story, because of they had you do so many different things in that, and the story was like peak. And I think that's exactly why Storm 4 just fell short. Everything that Storm 3 did was pioneering. Like, I really don't understand why in the newer games they took out the flick mechanic of going into an awakened state with certain characters, because it makes sense, right? Like, I always loved how Storm 3 you could just play as a Naruto where he just got the QB mode, and you could just like that, you're inside of Ninetales chakra mode, QB mode. I don't get why they took that out in Storm 4. You know, you could say for balancing reasons, or oh, it just doesn't make sense to have it in, but it does make sense to have it in, and you made it work in your previous title, and it still felt pretty balanced, and it was cool as hell. Also, while I'm kind of on a small little tangent, why can't we get a Naruto game that when you finish off a battle in your awakened state, it actually stays in the awakened state on the end screen? You do it all the time in the story mode, so why can't we do it in the actual game? I don't get that. Yeah, Storm 3, it's peak because of the story, and the changes that they made to the combat system were actually really good and pioneering. Of course, like I said, the only thing I didn't like about Storm 3 is that they kept the sub gauge, and that can be translated to any other Storm game past Storm 2 or past Storm Generations. I just wasn't a fan of the sub gauge. Storm 4. So Storm 4 is great because, okay, it's the most selling Naruto game because they got to the ending of, I think this is a huge contributor, by the way, and I look at it without like a glass lens. Like, I actually see through this shit. I don't know if I even said that saying correct, but Storm 4, a lot of people say it's the greatest Storm game, but it's really not. Storm 3 and Storm 2 really do things so much better. The only thing Storm 4 gets better is the combat, and they was able to finish the Naruto story before the anime finished it. Not before manga, but before the anime finished it. So nobody really had seen it in any type of animated format. I think that played a huge role into why Storm 4 became extremely successful. So all the sales and everything that you see, there was a lot of people during that time back in 2014, 15, 16 that wanted to see the ending of Naruto that couldn't see the ending of Naruto because they like to like visually see it, or I guess in this case play through it. Whereas people like me, we already read through the whole ending and we're like, damn, this shit gonna be crazy. I already knew that shit was gonna take them years to adopt. And I was right. They didn't finish Naruto for like 3 or 4 years after the manga actually finished. So I think that was a huge contributor as to why Storm 4 is extremely most selling and stuff. But if you're really looking at like what they actually did, yeah, their set pieces were beautiful, but I could put that on any CC2 title. Like literally with the Storm series, they have done they really put their foot inside of all their work there. So I can't really just give them that point. And the graphics look beautiful. Yes, that's true, but it looks great for all the other Storm games as well, except Storm 1 is a little wonky, but it's still pretty good. It's definitely a step up from what we had seen before. So Storm 4 just does not cut it for me when it comes ranking into like the best Storm games, unless we're speaking combat. Combat was very polished up in the game, and they did a lot of tweaks to make the game feel like really balanced, and they added a whole bunch of characters that people were looking forward to playing with. So I think that added a huge selling factor to the game as well. But when we're talking about like a complete total package, Storm 3 and Storm 2 just take the cake for me. Yeah, anyways, let me know down below what your thoughts are on my list of the best Naruto games, and if you wanted me to explain it more, I'll probably do separate videos entirely. This wasn't meant to be a complete breakdown of each system and all the stuff that they had in the game. It was kind of just like a recollection of what I think the best Naruto games are. So if you feel like you're missing a Naruto game, or you want something to go into and you think it's gonna be a cool experience, I would go ahead and check this out. So again, I'm gonna list off this list real quick for you. I think the best Naruto games are Naruto Uzumaki Chronicles 1 and 2 because of the RPG elements that's inside of it, the free roam aspect of it, the characters you can play, and the polish that it has, especially for an older title, or, you know, PS2 and maybe early PS3 era, but I'm pretty sure it was just only PS2. If you're looking for something that you can play like on the road and still have a complete package and enjoy all the systems that you love from the Ultimate Ninja series, not Storm, some of them, but the Ultimate Ninja series, I would check out the Ultimate Ninja Heroes series, which is 1 and 2. I don't know if they made a third one. They probably did, but I know that Ultimate Ninja 1 and 2 were great. Definitely 2. If you still have a PSP laying around and possibly a PS Vita, because I'm pretty sure PSP games can play on the PS Vita as well. If you're looking for something that's just like old school, but still a pioneer and still feels really great, you're going to get the same experience that you would playing the Ultimate Ninja Heroes series, because it obviously came first, is the very first Ultimate Ninja, which came out on PlayStation 2. And then if you're just looking for a total package of the original story of Naruto, as well as some cameos from like the first, second, and fourth Hokage, then check out Ultimate Ninja 3. Ultimate Ninja 3, I swear to God, has to be the best ones. It also has like the beam clashes that you would expect from like a Tenkaichi series, but in this, you have like the jutsu clashes. Okay, so have you ever had a lot of the people that are playing Storm 4 in or Connections or somebody like that are like, dang, they need to bring beam clashes back? Well, that's because even in Ultimate Ninja Storm 1, they had beam clashes, right? And that came from the original Ultimate Ninja series. So if somebody did a Chidori and a Rasengan together at the same time, you had to like keep on tapping the button to see who won. I don't see why they took that out. And it's just something that just adds to the cool factor of these games. It never made any sense to me why they would take that out. I don't understand why they took that shit out of like games like Xenoverse as well. So you know, there's so many things that I can go into, but now that I'm kind of recalling the events and listing out why some of these games are great, that's a good reason. You know, you have these epic moments that you can always have in the Ultimate Ninja series that they stopped putting in since Storm 2. But yeah, anyways, Ultimate Ninja 3 got to be the most complete package out of any game that I've listed out here. And moving on, Storm 2, Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 is great. Ultimate Ninja Storm Generations is amazing. Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, probably, again, one of the best ones. 3 and 2 for Storm series. And Storm 4 is amazing if you're looking forward to like a complete combat package. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought down below, and why some of these games, if you connected with them, are some of the greatest games to you when it comes to Naruto. And if you really want me to, I can actually do it. You can check the history of my channel. I can actually do like a deep dive into one of these games and like do like a review style and tell you exactly why each one of these games is really great. And I may do that even without you telling me. So yeah, if you enjoyed the vibe, slide and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for all the support, and let me know what you wanted to talk about next. Peace.